Welcome to Overcome Yourself, the podcast, where we rewrite stories, shift mindsets, and make dreams come true. I'm your host, Nicole Tuxbury. Let's get into today's episode. Hello there. Welcome back to the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and I'm so excited to be here today with Jenn. Now, Jenn has an incredible story. She is a nurse during the day, but she took her knowledge, what she knows about her nursing career, and she was able to create journals to help others who are in that career path as well. And so I'm so excited to be talking to you today. You mentioned hitting rock bottom. Like there's lots of amazing, juicy points in your story. So please take it away, Jenn, and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and who you help.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, first and foremost, for having me. So excited to be on. So I'm Jenn. I'm an ER nurse of 17 years, have worked emergency departments, big and small, as big as trauma centers, and as small as it's just me in the department, calling in my physician when I need them. And yeah, just mother of two, wife, the whole kit and caboodle. And just have kind of found myself that when I did hit rock bottom with COVID, and completely burned out hardcore, it ended up kind of being the very first starting point to where I decided to put me first.
Mhm.
And that whole saga of, trying to figure it out, and the mom guilt and the guilt and dealing with all of that. And in the end, writing a book and then writing some journals to try and really help nurses who are also struggling.
That is amazing. I mean, you were a nurse, it was COVID, and so I can only imagine how busy you were, right? Like we were seeing the reports of just hospitals being overwhelmed and an essential worker, so you didn't stop. I can imagine.
No.
I live with someone who also works in the medical field, so it was I remember it was a time. And it's scary, right? Because nobody else is allowed to go out except you.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that because I did the same thing. I reached a point and I was like, it's time to write my book. Um, Tell me about writing journals for nurses because I love talking to people who take what they know. Like you didn't have to go look for something else. You took your experience and then you use that to help others on that path. So can you talk to me a little bit about that and how simple it is for regular 9 to 5 working people to do that too?
Yeah, I mean, our stories are by far the most powerful things that we have. And we've all got stories. We've all got various viewpoints and experiences. Everybody's got stories. That's what makes us who we are. And so with burning out hard with COVID and kind of getting to a point of like, am I going to survive this? Like, how do I explain to my kids that I chose to continue to go to work day in and day out? How you got to the point of mentally, if I die, how would you explain this to my kids? And so I started writing my stories, the times where I was right where I needed to be and the people that I helped and, the good stories. And a few came out that, have kicked around my head the past couple of years. And got those out, and without even realizing it, the really traumatic stuff then very quickly came out because I was at a point where I had no reserve to kind of put it down anymore. So just started writing and writing all my stories, and I kind of sat back after about 6 weeks going like, okay, that was something. So what do I do with this now? And was listening to so Llewellyn, who's a metaphysical publisher in the States, was having online book fairs, and I kept trying to catch them, but of course they're happening during the day when I'm at work. I'm like, oh, I just want to catch one of these. And the one that I happened to catch was somebody who'd written the book, and the title was Intuition at Work. And so she was going on, and I'm like, intuition at work. I'm like, I use my intuition all the time at work. And it was just this like light bulb moment of, holy crap, that's it. That's what strings all of this together. And so I kind of went, okay, like, let me look into it. And sure enough, every single story had some sort of element of trusting your gut and intuition and all this. And I'm like, all right, so now that I know where that's coming from, do I publish it without any science behind it? And, this is August of 2020. So like the misinformation, disinformation is really starting to ramp up. And
Mhm.
I kind of sat there going like, I don't think I can publish this without science behind it. I think I might actually be risking my license if I do. So I thought, okay, well, what are the chances of like one or two studies being published, within the last 5 years and peer-reviewed evidence? And sure enough, like there was like 25 to 30 plus um, peer-reviewed studies within the last 5 years. I'm like, oh, okay, this is 100% a thing. It's not just me kind of going out on a limb here. This is it. So, okay, let's write here's all this whole intuition piece and all the science behind it. And so, okay, now what? So here's this book. Now what do I do with it? I said, well, we're taught in nursing school, if it's evidence-based science, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. If it's evidence-based, we teach it. And so now the fact is, okay, let's move forward. Let's teach this. And that led me to then speaking at a local university to some of our first year students. And all of the questions that they had were all about, how do I prevent burnout? How do I manage work-life balance? How do I grieve a patient? All these things. And I'm going, oh my God, I don't think I've ever once asked myself these questions. So how do I support you guys in this? I said, okay, well, let me take this back. And that's where the journals came from. It was all, okay, you guys need something to be able to track your wins and losses, to see how you're growing, to have those moments where you're hit like a ton of bricks and you think that you're not doing it right, you're not learning fast enough. Let's have you have a way to keep track of everything and then be able to look back on those rough days and go, no, 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 like I am learning, I am doing it, like it's okay, it's a process to get through nursing. So let's give them more support. So there's a grief journal, there's a way to track your kind of shift by shift growth. There's a wellness journal that's kind of more home-based wellness versus like work focused. And that's kind of put me on this trajectory of, okay, well, now that I have the journals, let's bring them out to nursing schools. Let's bring them out to orientation programs and start supporting nurses before they even think about leaving.
That is incredible. Um, Something that is so helpful to the people that you're already working with, right? And I love how you saw a need and then you brought a solution and you're like, hey, let's fill this need. Which is, that's what we teach, right? That's what we're
Yeah.
always teaching. So I love bringing examples like that, to show you that it doesn't matter where you are, what you
Hmm.
do can be helpful to someone else. And sometimes we just have to think about it in a new way. Like you said, you have all this expertise that you had never even acknowledged because you didn't even notice. It was just so simple to you, like grieving a patient. I'm sure you've had to do that over and over and over again. Um, you know, and and then you learn from that experience. You have to you that happens and then you have to go to work the next day and you have to
Yeah.
come and face a new patient and you're like, but so and so was in this room. How do you deal with that? Because you're like, I don't even want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that are really not in textbooks, but those are the things that we need help with. And so I think that's amazing. And so what advice do you have for someone who wants to create this process of their own, and maybe they don't know where to start? Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, figure out where, in the best case scenario, what do you want to do with it? Who are you looking to help? What problem are you looking to solve? Is it before you're coming up with products and pitches and all these kind of like other things, narrow it down to the problem and really whatever expertise you have and whatever areas you excel in, I like to call them your superpowers. Like no matter what, you always seem to be right place, right time for this instance, for helping this person, for choosing that color, for designing that room kind of thing. Like you always seem to be in the right place, right time for those instances. So take that, because again, we've all got expertise. Maybe you're really good at explaining things to people. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. As soon as you have an idea about it, you can explain it to people in a way that they understand. Maybe you're really great at design, or maybe you're really good at marketing, but you don't have a marketing degree. So you feel like you shouldn't be talking about marketing because you don't have a marketing degree. Well, guess what? If all of a sudden, like, your TikToks or Instagrams are doing really well, and you're kind of reaching a level where people are reaching out to you to be like, hey, maybe brand sponsorships, or let's work together, do that. Like, there's so many things, and especially with AI, oh my gosh, like the AI, everything is running at such a fever pitch that even the experts on AI, like, probably only have like a year more experience than you do. Like, it's really so start goofing around with things. And honestly, the best advice is just start saying yes to the most random opportunities that come your way. Somebody's asking you to be like, hey, I just need your opinion on this, or what do you think about that? Like, just go with it. Because really, even if you fall flat on your face, which I have many, many times, you know, you there is something for you. So as soon as you can find your problem and your niche, and like there's a lot of talk about niche, like lean into it hard, and see where it takes you. Because like really, some of the most fun places that I found myself in, I still to this day think that I had no right being in those rooms or at that table or at that conference. Like I'm teaching with Nurse Blake this summer, who, if you're into nursing or kind of medical humor, like he's huge in medical humor, and I get to teach with him. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it makes no sense to me. But again, I applied. People are like, "Oh my God, how'd you get that?" I just applied. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Something came my way. I happened to subscribe to a newsletter, which then, months later, they put out a call for abstracts for, what would you teach if you could teach your expertise in nursing? And so I said, well, nursing intuition, obviously, and how to grieve your patient, and how to write your story, and then how to enter your villain era, because there's nothing like a woman who finally finds the strength to say, I'm putting me first. And then the rest of the world go, oh, you're such a villain. It's like, well, if I'm going to be the villain, I'm going to take full responsibility for it and just go with it.
If having boundaries makes me a villain, then
Oh, heaven
I am the
forbid.
villain.
Oh my
I'm a
God.
super villain.
I do something for myself that makes me happy and potentially helps others. Oh my gosh. What a horrible person. I'm so selfish. Like, it's ridiculous.
Hmm. Yeah. And not to even mention the double standard of it all. But
Oh.
anyway, um
We could go
we
gangbusters
already
on that
know.
for forever and a day.
Yes. No, I was thinking about what you said about how you kind of stumbled into something. And then you were like, well, where's the research? And then you went looking for it and you're like, oh my gosh, I really stumbled into something. And that's what happened to me with my book, actually. So I love how our stories are parallel like that because I I was writing my book and I'm like, okay, so what is the thing? What is my thing? Like, what do I have those 10,000 hours of experience in?
Yep.
And what it boiled down to, I thought I was going to write a book about business and social media, and all the things that I
Yeah.
do. But I was like, what is the common denominator? Like, what is the thing that no matter what area of life you're in, like you could be in a hospital bed dying. And
Yeah.
how would this advice apply to you? You could be at the top of a company, you could be giving seminars. What is that common theme? And I stumbled into gratitude,
Yeah.
and that changed everything for me. And then I did the same thing you did. I was like, well, is this woo woo? Like, am I just stumbling into something woo woo and we're just doing something? But no, there is so much research, like you said, peer reviewed research.
Huge.
And I'm sure as a nurse,
Yep.
like literally in levels of pain, you feel less of it. You heal
Hmm.
faster. Like you have better numbers, like literally like your heart rate, your blood pressure, like they physically change. These are measurable things. Um, and it's with gratitude, right? So,
Yeah.
as a nurse, I mean, I want your input on this. Tell me about what you know about gratitude and how it fits into everything we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, gratitude, it's the number one thing that it's an it's not an easy mindset switch, but it's a very easy
Mhm.
gateway
Yes.
to switching your mindset because, you can get overwhelmed and burnt out and everybody the world's against me and nothing's for me and all this. And the second you take a step back and go, if I had to be grateful for the smallest possible thing, what would it be? And it's honestly like I can take a deep breath without pain. I can walk 100 meters or a mile without being short of breath. I mean, I'm a little winded because I don't really get off the couch, but like I'm not gasping for air. I don't live every day with chronic pain. Like that's huge for me because that's a lot of what I see is a lot of chronic pain. I I don't have an addiction that cripples me. I have a phone addiction and I have a gaming addiction that theoretically, doesn't help me day to day, but I can rationalize it as, oh, this is just my way to kind of come down after a shift. I can be grateful that I've had kids, that I was able to have my own kids, that I had a birth that wasn't horrifically traumatic, that I was able to get access to care when I needed it. Um, you know, I as and again with gratitude, like doesn't mean that you're the toxic positivity where it's only positive and we're only positive vibes and all this kind of stuff. That's not real life. Real life is ups and downs and good and bad. Like there's balance to everything. But if you can put a positive or just a little bit of a spin on something negative that happens. So recently I was in a pitch competition. I was pitching my business. I had 3 minutes. I thought I could wing it. I thought, oh, I've got this great idea. Like, oh, they're going to love this. And I put the slide deck together late. That was on me. I didn't practice as much as I should have. That was on me. And when I went to pitch, I kind of muddled it all up and I got off track. And I didn't even finish my pitch in the 3 minutes. That's negative. That sucks. That I missed out on potentially $1,000 of prize money because I didn't get organized and I didn't practice and do the things. However, has it given me a ton of lessons on, okay, I can't just wing it all the time. I do have to I do have to put in effort. I do have to focus. I do have to do all these things. Yeah, because now I'm still in the running for a $50,000 pitch competition. So I much would have rather bombed $1,000 competition than the $50,000 one. So
Love
it's
it.
another way that, yes, I failed. That's okay. Life is failing and learning. And, I couldn't imagine how, you know, ungrateful I would be if everything just worked out for me. We have those people that we hear about that everything always seems to go their way and everything's perfect. And like, you're not getting the full story. Instagram is not the full story. Oh my God. Pinterest is not the full story. Like, there's more going on. So the more that I hear from people who are willing to put themselves out there and willing to admit that they've failed, it's just huge kudos for me because I mean, as an ER nurse, I can smell BS a mile away. And it's so refreshing to like look at somebody on Instagram who, they had, there was so nurse daddies, love them so much. They're a couple of ER nurses out of Boston and they were doing goofy TikToks and all of a sudden they've got this following of like 150,000 people. So they've been doing this for a couple of years and it's gotten to the point where they're kind of parting ways. And it's just so refreshing to say, like, okay, like we all grow, we all change, like we're doing different things. Just because one thing was working doesn't mean that's going to work forever. And so watching them kind of separate a little bit and kind of do their own thing and all that, it's been so refreshing because it's just 100% honesty and transparency, which is very rare in this day and age.
Yes, absolutely. And my book, I talk about like don't compare yourself, like you said, to people
Yep.
on social media because they are curating. We curate the feed. Like if we worked at the Louvre, is my
Yeah.
example, right? Like
100%.
you put the art that you want people to see. And so yeah, it can be very easy to be distracted by all the things and the sets that they might be on, right? Because we've
Oh,
seen like, you know, like the airplane pictures and it's literally like a
yes.
set on the ground, like
Or it's a toilet seat.
yes,
Like, and just
yes.
because of the angle, it looks like it could be a plain seat, but it's not. Like taking everything with a grain of salt and
Hmm.
always wondering about the background story is, I think, a way that we're starting to learn to get to keep grounded and take everything just not at face value.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's the authenticity, right? Especially in this
Mhm.
day of an age of AI, it's having the
Oh,
authenticity to mess up, to tell those stories, the human stories, right? The things that connect us, the things that we go through, the things that we learn and we understand differently because of what's happened to us or what how we've reacted to it. Because we all have a story, like you said in the beginning.
mhm.
Now I don't think I asked you about this before our call, but I did see that you had sent me some of your links. Was there a gift for the audience inside of those links?
I would be more than happy to send somebody a signed copy of my book if
Ooh.
they would like. So yeah, by all means. And again, it is nursing intuition. It is a little bit niche, but we all know a nurse. And so
Mhm.
if it's not for you, then please pass it on. Or even if you've been to the hospital recently and you've had a nurse take care of you and you've just kind of thought like, you know what, maybe they just need something to lighten their day a little bit, by all means, pass it on. Um,
I love
and
that.
yeah, put the love out there and support it because like really there's no there's no bounds to just how much a thank you can do for somebody who again maybe putting on a brave face but you don't know what's going on underneath.
Another way of expressing gratitude, like we were talking about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that. That is amazing. And so we'll make sure that there's a link down there that you guys can get in touch with Jenn for that. And please let us know, how can we follow you on social?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much most active on LinkedIn, actually. So
Cool.
it's Jennifer Johnson, BSCNRN. And then Instagram and TikTok are at ernurse.jenn, Jenn. And then my website is nursejenn.ca.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And as always, all of those links are going to be available down below in the show notes, comments. I don't know where you're watching. But yeah, you'll find them somewhere down there. And so before we sign off, Jenn, what is one of your biggest tips, like the best tip that you give your clients that they're like, oh my God, this was worth it all?
Just trust your gut. Give it 2 extra seconds. And instead of just dismissing it immediately, just stop and say, what is my brain trying to tell me right now? What is around me? What is going on that it's catching up on, but I'm not because I'm too stuck in my phone or I'm too busy doing something? Just give yourself 2 extra seconds
Mhm.
to see what's going on around you. And again, us as women, we've been doing this since we were like 12 plus. You see somebody in a bar, creep factor, you trust it immediately. So it's time we start doing that without in situations where our lives aren't potentially in danger.
Um, okay, I'm just gonna have to add this.
Yeah,
Have you read Blink from Malcolm Gladwell?
I have not, but I will add it to the list.
Okay, and this is exactly what he is talking about. As soon as he said that, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't mentioned this. One of my favorite books. It's called Thin Slicing. And so what happens is your brain knows the information, but sometimes there's a delay in getting it to the conscious aspect of it.
Yep.
And so it's
Yep.
in there, and we have to learn how to listen to that voice. And so we have to train on paying attention to those details, because he gives the example of an art critic. Like, this was a person who was very educated in art. They've seen all the art, and they were shown this painting or this statue, and they was like, what's your gut reaction? They're like, it's fake. And they had it authenticated and they had all this, and they're like, I can't explain why. But by
Mm-hmm.
the end, they were able to verify it was fake and almost nobody would have found it. And it's because there's this area inside of you that already knows, but it's not conscious. And so you have to,
Yeah,
I don't know, it's really interesting. So to the audience, I definitely recommend that book. And Jen, like if you want to check it out, I think it's exactly
absolutely.
what you're talking about here. And Malcolm Gladwell's books are amazing. They're so fun. So yeah. All right. So awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. This has been incredible.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you. And we will catch you guys next time on the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Bye. Thanks again for tuning in to Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Stay bold, stay grateful, and keep becoming your best you. For more information and resources from me, Nicole, head over to nicoletexberry.com/resources. See you next time.